Welcome back, traders. Let's have a look at what happened in that Euro New Zealand dollar trade that we're looking at. If you remember, we had highlighted this line running up here. We had the bounces, and we were looking at approximately this time here. We were expecting the Reserve Bank of New Zealand to come out with some interesting news, and because it was happening in such a busy area on the technical analysis side of things, we were hoping for some kind of big movement, something coming out there. Now, as we said, the market has been fairly bullish recently, and we were thinking that there might be a chance that the market is going to turn down to a bearish thing if it were to come off one of these lines exactly. However, it hasn't really bounced off the 61.8 like we thought it might. It has come down and has tested it. As we can see, it's tested it twice, but because it didn't really change direction off that line, then we can't really say anything has happened. But what interesting thing has happened is that it's come down pretty close to this ascending trend line that we have drawn in here, and it seems to be getting rejected off here. So unfortunately, it has not broken out of this area to watch. It is bouncing off here. We do have what looks like a long pin bar on this side, so we could see it starting to turn up a bit more, maybe a continuation of the larger picture. You see here we have these trends coming up. This may be happening again, in which case we would expect it to break this top level, but that would be several days. You're looking at about a week and a half, maybe up to 2 weeks that you'd be holding a trade like that. So we're going to keep watching this, and we're going to see what happens across here. The other trade that I posted earlier this week, this Canadian Swiss franc trade, I had set this pending order, which had not been hit yet. Luckily on my live account, I've not entered the trade off that initial one. Like I said, I was going to hold off and see what's happening. And we actually came out with this beautiful pin bar right here that came off this bottom descending line. It looks like quite a mess. Let me zoom in and make it full screen. There we go. We can see that we have this beautiful long pin bar that came pretty much directly off this line here, moving up, which gave us a signal entry to enter long. But this happened, it opened up at 4 o'clock. The pin bar only closed at 8 at night. So it was one of those trades that you kind of place and then don't get much sleep while you're holding it. But it has been working out reasonably well. I'm looking for another entry to come off this line to continue the bullish movement. Let's zoom out and have another look. See how the market has been very bullish recently. It seems to have broken through. It bounced off here. If it comes up and then bounces off here again, we'd need like another long pin bar or some kind of confirmation telling us that it's going to keep going up. Then we could be in for a lot of fun, because it should then break this high, and then our next target would be quite far up. So keep your eye on this one. Let's see if we get another good long pin bar off here somewhere, and let's see if we can break this high. Before I let you go, let's have a quick look at what news is happening tomorrow on Friday and what we should be looking out for. As always, if you need to find a good calendar for the news, you can head on over to jpmarkets.co.za. Under education, you go to economic calendar, and it will load up this calendar for you. Now, Friday is pretty quiet, except for in the morning. Here we go. We have some news coming out of the British pound. Now, what's very interesting about this sort of news is look at how many things are coming out all at the same time. Most of them are not that important. The only really important one is the manufacturing production index, the month-on-month one, and this we will find could move the markets quite a lot. Now, they're expecting a growth of 0.3%. If this comes out higher, then we could see some nice movements coming out of the British pound, but you need to keep an eye on these other ones, because even though they're less important, we do find that these sort of news events all coming out at the same time, all this information, can really stack up against something that's positive and just make the market really shaky. In my humble opinion, if you are already in a trade with the British pound, then you should be shoring up your stop losses and getting them kind of closer, especially if you're in a profitable position, by, let's say, 11 o'clock. If you're not in a trade yet, wait for 11:31. Have a look at the news before you enter a trade, just to help confirm direction. This is the kind of thing that can either make you a lot or lose you a lot, so you need to be very careful when you start seeing this sort of thing happening. Later in the day, we have some more news coming out from the US dollar. There is unfortunately nothing fantastic. no one single major event, just a whole lot of smaller things coming out. So this we will start seeing the market a little bit shaky. We'll see some blips and that sort of thing, but it is late on a Friday night, and we do find that the markets tend to start dying. So you should be finished trading by what, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I give you permission to stop working early on Friday and just chill.